We'll be trying to cover. First of all, thank you for joining us. Again, we continue to do these weekend open sessions for uh, AI enthusiasts and AI, both engineer, AI, PM enthusiasts, right? We have been doing a lot of sessions on GPT, LLMs, transformers. We have done open hackathons. We have created a lot of agents on N8N. And in the recent past, we have done some workshops on AutoGen and Crew AI as well, where we are talking about agentic. One of the high demand or not so much prevalent in the Indian ecosystem learning space was Hugging Face. We got a lot of demand from students in terms of, hey, as an AI enthusiast, can I play around with these LLMs? Can I fine tune my own LLMs? Can I train uh, these LLMs, deploy it for my enterprise use cases? And how can I validate it before I make enterprise grade products? As of now, there is very limited content and almost negligible that is there in India in terms of how do PMs use Hugging Space. And so for Hugging Face, I think this is for the first time that we are introducing a comprehensive structured learning approach in the next 45, 50 minutes that we have. We'll try to see all the features, functionalities, and how AI enthusiasts, agnostic if you are an engineer or you are a designer or you are a PM, or if you are a consultant who's just getting started on AI, specifically generative AI. If you want to get started with um, LLM models, how do you get started with it, and your why Hugging Face should be your background, right? So that's going to be the agenda. The deck we are going to use, I think, after sharing the post session feedback, we'll share that also with you. Because we only have 1 hour and we are already like 10 minutes out, I'll quickly get into the content. uh, I'll keep checking the chat once in a while just to make sure I'm not losing my screen, because I'm sharing the entire screen. So I have also Hugging Face open here in front of me. So this is how Hugging Face looks like. And I'll probably walk you through each of the functionalities and the capabilities that Hugging Face as a platform provides. And we'll keep doing to and fro between the deck and the content. So Hugging Face by itself is, you can think of it as a GitHub or an open source community for all the LLM models. Now, when Llama comes out from Meta or Gemini 2.5 Pro comes out from Google, or GPT-5 comes out from OpenAI, there is an entire community, like more than 200 of us who have joined today, right? Like, we are all excited about experimenting and trying things with um, these new models as soon as they come out. And I'm sure most of you would have seen the status of Nano Banana, like people editing their pictures and putting that up, right? Same thing happened with GPT 3.5 with Gifly images. So as soon as a model comes out, there are enthusiasts and there are domain experts who kind of want to get uh, their hands dirty with these models. And there are multiple use cases that they would want to evaluate how these models work and how can they use them. Those models which are proprietary or are behind paywalls, like GPT-5 or uh, Claude 4.1 or Sonnet, where you have to pay, are proprietary models. They are not available publicly. But then all the public models, if you think of Grok, if you think of DeepSeek, if you think of a lot of Microsoft models, and if you look at all the Llama models of Meta, right? They are all publicly available, and all those publicly available models is what are available on Hugging Face for you to do four things. One is play around with those models. Second is create your own applications or prototypes quickly to experiment, learn, and deploy high-end applications. Third is integrate it with existing data sets and uh, see if they will be relevant for your use cases or not. And fourth is building quick prototypes where you are fine tuning according to your own use cases and then seeing how these models would work. To give you an example to appreciate how exactly this works, right? So let me show you Hugging Face. There is this data set which IIT Bombay creates. So this is, if I just see IIT Bombay, right, I'll see this C filtered IIT Bombay English to Hindi data set. So any model, be it Gemini 2.5 if it comes out, or GPT-5 when it comes out, or if uh, like a Grok 4 comes out, I would love to see how it works in Hindi, right? And I have this data set which is created by IIT Bombay. I can go ahead, look at this data, fine tune the model on that data, quickly develop a space for myself, experiment with it, and I can have like three or four spaces, one for GPT-5, one for, of course, those are proprietary. So let's talk about the free models, which can be Distilbert by Google or Llama. I can search the models here, right? So if I say DeepSeek model, so I can get the DeepSeek model here. If I see Distilbert, which is the BERT model from Google, I can get that Distilbert by Google. If I say Llama model, I can get that Llama model here. I can just build that. I can use this data set. I can build prototypes. I can fine tune it. I can see how my model works and quickly build prototypes. And also, probably if I'm working in an organization, show that prototype or an application for my fellow uh, teammates and stakeholders to evaluate and see if that model will make sense for me or not. So that is what essentially your Hugging Face is, right? It helps you in faster discovery, comparison of model, reduce the time to prototype, and play around with data set, model cards. And if you don't want to build all of that, you can just try some of the models by the endpoint inference widget that it provides. And what is that? Let me show you. So if I'm looking for an image, text to image model, right? I can just see text to image. I can search this. I will text to image. I will see all the models. I get all these models here. So I can filter them by most likes one. Um, So I get ZB Tech or I get Paragon. Now I don't want to build an entire model, but I just want to see what type of images it can create, right? So they give this inference endpoint, which is, we have covered this earlier, which was the difference between inferencing and training, right? So I can just go ahead and I can ask, okay, create an image of a cute uh, cat chasing a cute banana. Let's see how it what it generates. I can just try this model out before I clone it, before I do fine tuning on this, before I test it out. And as you can see, okay, so it has created a cute cat, and the cat, I don't know if it's definitely not chasing the banana, but it has done something with the banana. So you can inference the outputs. You can just test out the model, see how it works for you. If I want to also see that, let's try another one, which is text to voice models, right? I can just search this, uh, or I can go to tasks. I can just say text to voice, which is text to speech. I click here. I get tasks, text to speech. So I get all these models. I can sort them by most liked ones. Let's open this one. I can type it here and generate the speech and see what speech does it generate, right? So welcome to your Hugging Face 101 session with product space. Here we are trying to evaluate the quality of a model for voice to text, right? So I can just generate this, see if it gives me actually good output or not. And if it does, I can use it, I can clone it, I can create a prototype, I can run an application, do all sort of testing with Hugging Face, also deploy it to my GitHub repo, share that application prototype with my friends. And yeah, so you see it has generated this. Just, are you able to hear the sound or not?
No, Arun.
No, let me share it again. I'll just share that one window with, or okay, I've allowed the audio share now. Let me try again.
Welcome to your Hugging Face 101 session with Product Space. Here we are trying to evaluate the quality of a model for voice to text.
Okay, so I'll take back the screen share and I'll share my entire screen again. Yeah, I don't know how much of these note takers would be able to help you, but okay, if you want to run your note takers on top of this to see if you can learn something. But I would say follow along and try to learn. So yeah, Hugging Face is your like um, the storehouse or the marketplace. It's not a marketplace because it's not a paid entity. It's a community-led, collaborative platform for all the LLM experimentations, LLM evaluations, LLM metrics, LLM fine-tuning, and creating your applications on top of these LLMs, right? Generally, how does a product manager's playbook look with a uh, with Hugging Face, right? I would explore the models that I need, right? I would then go on and look at the data set that I want to fine tune my model on. I will define my use case. I will fine tune it with Hugging Face Auto Train. I would evaluate the output. I will see the matrix. I will see how the output looks like. And finally, if I think it is good quality, I will make an inference endpoint to it and will make an API and I'll let it be ready for anyone to use, right? And if more people are using it, I will probably put it on a hyperscaler like an Azure or an AWS, where anyone can go and play around with my application, right? So that is how the life cycle of it looks like. Let me just quickly walk you through step by step. How would I go about it, right? So assume that I'm a product manager at maybe Amazon, and I'm trying to create a chatbot which does take input as the customer support query and does um, text classification about what type of query is it. Is it order query, order status related query? Is it a refund related query? Is it a account deletion or account creation query? Is it a prime query, right? So what I'll do is first I'll go and pick a model. Like I'll probably go to tasks. I will say text classification. So I'll see what are all the models which are here for text classification, right? I'll filter the ones which are most downloaded or which have the most likes, right? So if you see, let me see most likes. Yeah, so I think Finbert and Distilbert based by Google, this one really trumps. So I will use this model. Plus, I will see my users are asking probably uh, queries on Hindi also. So I will go in the data sets and I will search text data in maybe Hindi to English, right? Or English to Hindi. And I will see what all databases are there. Again, I'll see the maximum number of likes. All these are less. I think this one is decent. I will just pick this up. I'll use both of these, right? And I will create an application using my Hugging Face spaces. I've already created it because in a 5 hour, 45 minutes, I can't show you creating it end to end. We do that as part of the end to end course offering. But if I uh, just go ahead to my Hugging Face profile, if I show you the fine tuned version of Amazon that I have created, right? I'll just uh, let let's start this page. So once you have built your application, once you have fine tuned your model with the data set and you have created that application, it will show something like this, like a quick prototype. Let me just run this. So I selected this model Distilbert base. I fine tuned it with certain instructions from Hindi to English. And then I've created this application. It's getting started. It'll run in a while. Okay, while it spins up. So the biggest or the best features that Hugging Face offers, right? What are those? How do PMs use them? And how can you get acquainted with Hugging Face, right? The first feature set is Model Hub, where all the models which are publicly available are listed. These models you can evaluate by their task classification type, their latencies, their cost structures, how much is the output, the token size, and a lot of that, right? Let's talk about that as the first one. If I go to Hugging Face homepage, right, this is how your homepage looks like. If you click on models, this is your model hub, right? In model hub, you'll have all the models. So if you see, there are, uh, I think, 21 lakh models which are available. What you can do here is, depending on your type of application or depending on the size of parameters that you want, if you want a very large model, you can select only those models which have greater than, say, 32 billion parameters, and it will show you that there are 24,000 models. If you are running on PyTorch, if you are running a code on your TensorFlow by Google, or if you have certain libraries that it is dependent on, you can pick that model selectively. For PMs, I think the most relevant filter is the tasks filter. So what exactly is the task that you want to accomplish, right? If I'm looking for a task which converts, uh, say, image to text, I can select this. It gives me all the models which are image to text models, right? So you can see Google Gamma is there, and all fantasy Meta Llama's model is there, all the top models, right? Similarly, if I have to do computer vision, which is image to image or image to video or image to text, uh, text to image, it will give you all those. You give a text and it should be able to generate an image. It will give you all of those models as well. You see Stability AI, which is Stable Diffusion, also have their base model, which you can use. It has decent number of downloads and great number of likes as well. Black Forest Labs has this Flux model. Flux is also a very mature image model, so they have their public model also listed here. You can play around and test with that. Uh, or if you are looking for natural language queries, right? If I have to do text classification or summarization, sometimes as PMs you would operate in uh, spaces where you have like tens and hundreds of emails from your customer, right? You want to summarize them and give a crisp insight from what has all been discussed. So you can just select this summarization task, and it will give you all the models that you can use for summarizing and getting output. So if I see, uh, there is Google Pegasus XSum. This is a really good model for summarization if you're trying to build applications around summarization, right? And then you have, if you are someone who's working in the audio space, if you have text to speech or audio to audio or text to audio, you can just click text to speech, and text to speech will give you all the latest and greatest models that are there. This model from Hexgrad Kokoro is really good. It has 82 million uh, parameters. And then there are few more, which is data analysis, reinforcement learning models that you can pick from. Uh, the one that we were picking, right? Text classification. If I am a product manager in Amazon and if I want to classify my customer intent by, uh, is it a order query? Is it a is it a Prime query? Is it a Amazon Pay query? Is it a Amazon Music query? I can create a model. I can pick. I have picked Google Distilbert here. This is the model that I've picked, right? And when you pick a model, once you go into the model hub, there are four features that you essentially need to be aware of. First one is inference API that I already showed you. Before using the model, you can just try to uh, write or type something and you can generate the response and see how the model works. This is your inference feature, which is the first kind of very important feature. Second one is your model card feature. Model card is, it tells you everything about who built this model, what is the license type of this model, what does this model actually do. If you have to run it on your local repo using code, what is the code snippet that you need to copy from, right? And what is the usage percentage, what is the batch size. If you are fine tuning, what are the hyper parameters that you need to follow. So all the instructions how to use this model for your use case would be given here, right? That's the second feature. So first feature is inference API. The second feature is this model card. The third feature, which is very important, is the evaluation results. How does this model perform when you look at evaluation, right? So let me just search here, open LLM. So if you see spaces, if you see open LLM leaderboard, if you just click on this, it will give you all the models and how their relative performance are. What is their score in solving math problems? What is their score in solving multitasking logical problems? What is their score on CO2 emissions? How much are they carbon or environment friendly? So that also you can see as part of your model hub, right? One more very interesting feature that is there on model hub. Let me show you that, which is when you go for a published or acknowledged model, which is released by a large organization like a Google or a DeepSeek or a Microsoft, you will always have the original entity or the original research paper which is attached to this model. Like if you see here, this is the research paper for Distilbert. You can just click view paper page and then you go and see the paper. It is there. You can see the raw version also here, right? Let me see if they have. Yeah, you can just click on this view PDF and it actually gives you the entire research paper. It tells you everything that has happened, the timeline, Google AI BERT, when was it launched, what is the parameters that it has used, what is the score, what is the output. So you can quickly go around playing with this paper, and whenever you are using these model in your organization, what type of license you need to follow, that also information you can find at the top here. You can just click on license Apache 2.5, and then how can you use this license and can you replicate this model, can you use this for commercial purposes. Just click on view license file and it will give you all the definitions. What can you do, what you cannot do, what are the limitations, right? So that is the first feature of uh, Hugging Face. The second feature, which is here, is let me show you that, which is, so you have selected your model, you know everything about your model, and you know how to pick the right model. The second is Data Hub. The first one was Model Hub. If you look at the top, you can select your model, right? The second one is Datasets or Data Hub, where you go and select all the data sets which are there. So if I am a product manager who's looking to create a repository of apparel images, like fashion related images, so that whenever my users does a scan and search, they can select an image. I can just go on data sets, select image. When I select the images, all my images are available here. These are my image data sets. And if I want to just search, say by fashion, right? So see Zalando, which is like Amazon or e-commerce platform, a large e-commerce platform of Europe, they have their entire data set here. They have uploaded almost 70K images of different type of clothes, if you see here. And they've given it classifier also: ankle boot, sandal, sneakers, trousers, coat. You can just use this to train your model on fashion data set. Similarly, if I search for, let's search if there is something related to food. Yeah, so there are 100K images for food, and let's filter this by the largest number of stars. Yeah, so if I go here, see it has all these food images already trained on. You can just see. You don't need to hit your head from scratch. This looks like a lot of bakery items, uh, not great food images. Let's see the other food ones. Yeah, this one still has better food images. So you can probably use this model. It's better trained. It has more high quality images, and the variation of food is also pretty high in this. Cool. So this is when you select a data set. There are a lot of other cool functionalities in the data hub or the data set. Let me quickly walk you through that, which is say I am looking at the IIT Bombay Hindi to English one. So IIT Bombay, as I said, right, it uses this data set for English to Hindi translation. Now, if I want to play around with this data set, and this is especially for engineers or data science PMs, right? I can just go ahead, click on uh, this view this data set, and I can either view it as is, or what I can do is I can go into Data Studio. Data Studio is another fantastic interface that Hugging Face provides, where it allows you to write SQL queries. So if I want to see sentences which only have the word, uh, let's say, workout or gym, uh, select top 100 sentences which have word workout. That's 100 will take time, so 10. You just write it in natural language query. You put it up, right? It will automatically write the SQL query for you. It will also run the query, and this is the power of Data Studio. It will run the query and it will give you the data set filtered according to your need, right? So let's see what it gives us. Because that's why I kept the limit to 10, because it will take some time. Yeah, so see, it has given the sentences workout, 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 right? Wherever the word workout was there. And if I have to go back to my data set, I can also split this data set for my machine learning to training data, validation data, and test data, right? So it is automatically split. You don't need to do anything. You can just use this data set in data sets, Hugging Face, and you can directly go and train your models on top of it. All right. Another cool feature in this data sets queries, you can directly get your code. If you go to files and versions, how do you pull the data and how do you reuse it? You can directly go to your files and versions and start pulling and start using this data set. Uh, Yep. So that's your second feature. In the deck, if you go about it, right, I have given you a lot of links. You can directly click on these links. Uh, Sorry, my bad. Yeah. If you click on these images, it will directly take you to the Hugging Face spaces where you can just go ahead and play around with all of this, right? And if you look at uh, the instructions, also I've given you what instructions you need to follow. I have identified, in fact, 10 use cases for PMs that PMs should definitely try in Hugging Face. So that also you'll be able to find it here if you just click on this link, right? If you click on this, it will give you a step-by-step guide, which you can go ahead and play around and create your own model within this deck. Yeah, one more very interesting thing is the leaderboards. Like if I go to one of the trained models, right? Once I have fine-tuned the model, if I go to my fine-tuned model, I want to see how performant or how good is the training been. So I can just click on my training matrix, and Hugging Face by default shows you all the graphs and all the knowledge curves of how the training has been and how the model trained, what was your data set, how much time did it take, what was your latency. So your entire curve of evals is available for you to play around. This is again very cool feature within Model Cart that you can go and test it out. So that is your second feature. So we have covered Model Hub, we have covered Data Hub or Data Cards. Third one is Spaces. Hugging Face Spaces and Hugging Face Auto Trains are your playground or your area where you can create your own version. So this is like there is a lot of models and there are a lot of data sets which are freely available, right? But I want to create something for my own and I want to create a prototype. How do I do that? How do I get started, how do I use these models, how do I pull these models, that is possible with Hugging Face spaces. So if you see here, we have discussed models, we have discussed data sets. The third or the most important feature for you to actually build something, and if you see, I have created 6 spaces here, right? So you can just go to spaces, and if you see, these are all the spaces which are running, which people have created, and they are trying to play around with these spaces, right? So I can just select one space and I can play around in what people are doing. So let me uh, pick image generation. So it will give me all the spaces that people have created for image generation. Let me filter out by the space which has maximum number of stars, or you can say trending also, which is the most trending one. Let's pick by likes. Okay, so we have this AI comic factory. Let me see what it creates. I'll close these windows. I will click on AI comic factory. Okay, anonymous users can create one comic, sign up to create more. Okay, so you, who are you? I am a, let's say, Japanese user, and I just want 0 grids, like 4 grids. I want captions, yes. I want bubble callouts, yes. Story, um, an imaginative panda who is exploring Japan, and style is retro. Let's just click see go. Let's see what it generates. So this is an image model taken by someone, created a application, and you can go ahead and try that application, right? So it is generating the image script. Let's see what it gives us back. And there are a lot of spaces. If I want to see code generation spaces, I can pick from here. Before you start creating your own models, or before you start actually deploying or testing your spaces on your own, you can always go ahead and create a new space. You can select the configuration. The guide that is there with the deck gives you step-by-step instructions how you can create your model. But before that, I would recommend that you go ahead and look at spaces, try some of these spaces, whichever space you work in as a PM or as a consultant, right? Try to play around with that. Let's see, if I am someone who's doing text analysis or image editing or something more interesting, maybe, yeah, data visualization. So these are all, and you can always filter by most likes. So ultra scale playbook, this is, someone has created this for data visualization, and see how cool it is. GPU cost and how much time it takes to train the model, right? You can read everything about it, how they have created it. You can play around with this. You can tweak the parameter of batch size, hidden dimension, feed forward layer. Uh, every space that you learn, it is very, very powerful. If you just open leaderboard, right? It tells you the metrics of which LLM model performs how much. So average score, average rank. If I want to select certain models, I can just put the input name of the models. I can select my matrices, and it will give me relative score for those. So this is also a space created by someone who's an AI enthusiast, right? You can select your filters, you can select your models. All the name of these models are here. You just select them, and this table gets auto populated for you. That's why I'm saying, before you kind of build your own spaces, ideal would be you run with these, right? Let's look at something else. Background removal or images, we have done enough. Let's do something on audio. Speech synthesis, yeah, let's try speech synthesis. Let me filter by most likes. Whisper, okay, whisper jacks, let's try this. Let's see if the images are, it's generating, it is taking time. It's taking time to load. Let's try another one. Okay, running on 0 GPUs. Let's try this. Upload a reference voice, give reference then generation text, and hear it in the same voice. Interesting. So this is if I give my own voice and then I try to generate, I give a certain text, it will try to replicate my voice. Let's try this. So I'm recording my, yes, this is how my voice sounds like. I am recording this to generate a synthetic speech. After this, I'll be giving you a sample text that you can generate. And let's see how or what is the quality of text synthesis that you can do. Stop. So this is ready. Now let me, hello, let's see how what it generates. Okay, it gave an index error. Did not work. Let's try again. It is having GPU error. This one is still getting generated. Okay, so we have tried this. Let me also show you Hugging Face tokenizer. So if you have to visualize when you type something or when you prompt to an LLM, how does it break it down into tokens? You can just select the type of model. Let's say I'm using Llama 3. Here is my random text to see how this would be. Yeah, I have a sample text here. I will now just select different models and see how it converts to tokens and how it processes it, right? So this is another cool feature while you are selecting your models to get a count of how many tokens would my sample user query hit, what is the cost that I'll end up paying for it, right? This is one more feature that you can try here. I think it's there in the slide, second slide, which you can refer in terms of uh, so Model Studio, I've told you, I've given a link on this deck. You can try Model Studio. You can try inferencing. You can look at training metrics. Dataset, I've already showed you around IIT Bombay's dataset. You can write queries. You can write natural language queries, and you can revisit that. Hugging Face, Auto Train, and Spaces. Spaces, I've told you. You can go to. Okay, it's almost getting ready. You can go to Hugging Face Spaces. And when you go to spaces, you can try all these spaces out. You can choose your task, and basis that you'll be able to uh, pick any one of them. Auto train takes time. It needs an end-to-end 1.5 hour of session to show you how to create a data set, pick a model, then fine tune it and run a Docker auto train. So probably we'll have a dedicated session on that. But you have a guide if you want to just follow along. And then there are leaderboards that I already explained you. You can just click on this link and it'll take you to this leaderboard, and you can see all the metrics which are important for LLMs, including your CO2 cost, what it takes, right? So that's a kind of a quick refresher for everything and anything that you have around Hugging Face. Feel free to um, share the post session feedback so that we can share the uh, I think product space team would be sharing the session guide with you. So if that is helpful. But yeah, that's majorly it that I had.